Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Robin's Nest. Before we get started, I want to send a shout-out congratulations to Evan and Andrew Johnson. Evan races down here in Mobile, races Bandoleros. They race in Charlotte some too, but they had a really good weekend. I think this was the last weekend of the season for Sunny South, and the kid smoked him. As always, Andrew is his dad, just for clarification. But congratulations, guys. That's awesome. I like seeing it. I'm telling you, this kid is going to be. He's going to be. He's the next big thing. Okay. I think we need to start calling him sliced bread. You know, take Joey's old moniker nickname and apply it. So, if you watched the Formula One race this weekend, George Russell smoked everybody. It's kind of odd, you know. Mercedes has been decent this year, but every once in a while they'll show up. It just depends on the configuration of the racetrack that just fits their car really well. And Singapore, I guess, was that racetrack. And so they came out there, and George, I mean, it wasn't even close. There's a couple of stints where Max was kind of gaining on him, but then, you know, he'd use his stuff up. And then Max also made a lot of mistakes and overshot braking zones. And I don't know if he scrubbed the wall once or not. I know Lando did. Lando was a wrecking ball. Let me just say that. I don't understand. Like, Lando Norris probably would have already been champion at this point if he just stopped driving over his head, which he does often. I've got nothing personal against the dude. He drives over his head. Ran into Oscar in turn one, lap one, ran into the back of Max, messed up his front wing, and it just needs to reel it in a little bit. You know, it's a similar deal with Kyle Busch several years ago. He was really, really fast, but got in his fair share of accidents. Sheldon Creed's another one. I know Sheldon hasn't won yet. It's been close. But he's another one, man. Like every series when he would move up, when he moved up to trucks, he tore a lot of equipment up there for like the first year, and then he finally dialed it back a little bit and became successful. And that's starting to happen in Xfinity too. That's what Lando needs to do. Just dial it back. Just a little bit, man. And he'll be unstoppable, in my opinion. So, if you enjoy listening to me ramble about motorsports, cars, whatever else I feel like talking about, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications. If you're interested in die-cast cars, t-shirts, hats, auto parts, anything and everything, not even automotive related, home decor, what have you, we've got it. So check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Follow me on Facebook and X for more motorsports content. Facebook is essentially strictly motorsport stuff. X, I post political stuff as well on there. So, forewarning, if you do follow me on X, there's political stuff. So, I don't want anybody to get on there and be shocked and you know, get offended by anything. So, before you check it out, keep that in the back of your mind. So, without further ado, let's get into the rest of the video. Man, NASCAR. I was talking to my wife about this earlier. I really want to have like a Monday after the races and stuff, where I can make a video and be like, they did this right, and this was awesome. You know, talk about the sanctioning body or just, you know, the races themselves. I really want to do that. Like I'm waiting for the weekend to come where I can have something positive to say on Monday. But this weekend certainly wasn't that. You know, I'd made a video about what happened Friday, and I'm firm in the belief that there was some hinky business going on with Tricon at the end of that race, and I think it says a lot that NASCAR is refusing to investigate. You know, at the bare minimum, you had 3 trucks from the same team who were all involved in what happened at the end of that race. On that basis alone, there should be some sort of investigation into what happened. And if they didn't do anything wrong, they didn't do anything wrong. But to just completely gloss over it and pretend like nothing happened, nothing looked suspicious, I mean, is indicative of the leadership of NASCAR at this point. I mean, they're incompetent, they're corrupt. I think if there's no investigation into what happened, and in fact there was something hinky going on, then NASCAR obviously had something to do with it. That would be the only explanation as to why you wouldn't check it out and see. I mean, when the stuff happened with Michael Waltrip Racing in 2012, going into the playoffs, or the chase, whatever, same thing. When that happened, they didn't bat an eye. They immediately started investigating to see what was going on. And then the punishment came down swiftly and with a heavy hand. So I don't get why we're not doing that now. You know, you had one Tricon truck break down with 2 laps to go, bringing out the caution. You had another Tricon truck that was leading that's a part-timer they're not in the playoffs, okay? Truck running second is Corey Haim, who's won a ton of races this year and is in the playoffs. If he wins the race, he gets locked into the next round. Okay. You can't very well tell Brent Cruz, who was first place, hey, back off, you know, let Corey catch you and pass you. You can't tell him that over the radio because everyone's listening. So, and then it'd be too obvious if he started to slow down and let Corey pass him. So what do? You have your truck running 30th, stop on the racetrack, claim that there's an electrical problem or a fuel pickup issue, and then you pit Brent out of first place and leave Corey out, giving Corey the win. Because, I mean, Corey's truck basically looked like it had traction control as soon as they threw the green flag. I mean, he had a second lead in half a lap. So, you know, make of that what you will. But, and, you know, I'm not saying maybe Tony actually had an issue and that's why she slowed down on the track. But they showed the leaders passing her before she stopped. She had plenty of time to pull off the track and find a safe place to park that truck. She didn't do that. And so, like I said, it may not be anything. There may not be anything to it, but for the sanctioning body to have any sort of integrity or legitimacy, they should investigate it. Plain and simple. But they won't. So, it tells you what you need to know. Now, as far as the Cup race, I didn't watch the Xfinity race because I already knew how it was going to go. So, I didn't watch it. But the Cup race, I saw the end of it, and oh my God. I mean, so it's a cutoff race, and, you know, so a lot of guys are going to get eliminated, however many drivers. Ross Chastain was on the bubble, and so Ross, last corner, the last lap, I mean, he comes from like 6 or 7 car lengths back to hit Denny Hamlin going into the final chicane, because he had to finish in front of Denny. Spins both of them out, and then throws the car in reverse and drag races Joey Logano to the line in reverse. And Joey ended up passing him, knocking Ross out of the playoffs. It's a clown show. All right? It's a clown show. I made a comment about this on X and on Facebook, and I got a lot of grief for it, but what about any of that is racing? Like, please, like, someone comment and tell me, is it entertaining? Yes. Is it racing? Not in the slightest. And Joey Logano was talking about it afterwards. He was like, well, all the people who say that we need a full season format and not playoffs, this is why we got the playoffs. It's exciting, and there's stories and all that. Like, it's all artificial, dude. It's gimmicky. And it's not racing. I mean, it's just not. You put people in a position where they have to go into the last corner, the last lap, from 7 car lengths back, never touch the brakes, wipe out the guy in front of them, and then drag race somebody else in reverse. This is like Talladega Nights. Remember the scene where he's giving Jamie McMurray the finger while he's going backwards? Sorry, I hit the mic. But he's giving Jamie the finger going backwards in reverse. It's, you know. And then everyone from NASCAR, everyone involved with NASCAR that's got any association with them, they're taking up for him. And they're pretending like it's some sort of big moment. I mean, legitimacy is all but gone. The rumor has been circulating that they're talking about going back to full season format. It's at least on the table. After what I saw yesterday, and after all the follow-up from NASCAR and from the media members who have ties to NASCAR and cover NASCAR. I just don't see it. They're dead set on this gimmicky crap. And it's been proven since the playoffs started this year that no one's watching. It's not moving the needle in a positive direction in the slightest. I think last weekend, maybe the first race of the playoffs, they were like neck and neck for the most viewers, and it was at like 1.4. Which, don't get me wrong, there's some race series out there that would kill to have 1.4 million people watching. But for NASCAR, a series that back, when I was a teenager, 20 years ago, was steadily bringing in 8 to 9 million viewers per weekend, give or take. They've lost over half of their fan base. And you can say it's because of, putting it on network TV or, putting it on USA, but there's other entities that broadcast on USA that do just fine. WWE, for example. So I don't know. I hope, this is my hope, that we haven't gone so far down the rabbit hole at this point that we can't turn back. Is NASCAR's image and everything, is it going to be permanently damaged from what we've seen over the past 20 years? Ever since they came out with playoffs 2004, I know it was called the Chase, but it's playoffs. It's all the same thing. The viewership is slowly but surely fallen off a cliff. And I think, a lot of that is the points format. A lot of it now is the terrible race car, which, speaking of that, Roger Penske came out, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday. And he was talking to the media, and he was talking about how great the new car is, how it's cut cost, and it's improved the on-track product. Roger, in what way has it improved the on-track product? In what way? I guess it's improved for you since you've won, the last 3 championships, which Roger was one of the main guys pushing for this car to be implemented, and I think we know why now. The whole argument of we need to cut costs because we're not making any money. Well, you would be making money if y'all would quit making terrible business decisions as a sport series that drives your fans away. Like, there's no reason for NASCAR to be in the position that they're in right now, where you have to worry about cutting costs on the car and stuff like that. Y'all did that to yourselves. And now you're saddled with a race car that 99% of the fan base hates. But then you have, I hate the term shill. It's like a buzzword that everyone started using here recently. But that's what it is. These people like Roger, they're shills. They're gonna prop up the sanctioning body no matter what. They all make a lot of money off of each other, so obviously that's what they're gonna do. But for them to come out and try to convince us with pure propaganda that, don't believe your lying eyes, essentially. Yes, the car may look like it races terrible, but it actually doesn't. You're looking at it from the wrong perspective, I guess, is what the argument is. I don't get it. Or like I said, from a business perspective, I guess I do. But from a logical perspective, it's nonsense. We see it every weekend. We know. You take 1 or 2 random races out of it, like North of Wilkesboro actually put on a good show. But outside of that, maybe 1 or 2 others, it's been awful all season. And so we don't want to hear the propaganda. We don't want people like Roger Penske coming out and telling us, oh, everything's great, actually. When we can physically see it. We can physically see the opposite. It's not great. Not only do you only have like 1.4 million people watching, no one's going to the races anymore. Like, it's just, you got a lot of empty seats. At places like Bristol, by the way. Bristol used to be a 2-year waiting list track, and now you can essentially buy an entire section of grandstand at the gate. If they're selling it. Now, half the time they'll just put big sponsor banners over the seat, kind of like what Monster Jam does. But at least with Monster Jam, they do it for safety reasons. If the truck gets out of control and it goes up in the stands, you got that whole section that's empty, no one's sitting there. In NASCAR's case, it's because they can't fill the seats, so They just cover them up with banners. It's embarrassing. The whole thing's embarrassing. And like I said, I don't like to be this way. I really, really want to say something positive about NASCAR. I would love to. There's just nothing there right now that even remotely makes me want to do that. I just, I'm holding out hope. But after the crap that happened at the end of that race, and then for NASCAR, like if you get on their social media, every post since yesterday afternoon has been, whoa, that was exciting, that was great, that was awesome, blah, 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 blah. You look at the comments and everyone's like, what are you talking about? It's a joke. That was not awesome. That was amateur. And honestly, Ross should be penalized for that. He won't. He won't be, but he should be. It's another thing. NASCAR used to do this. I got in an argument with someone the other day. They're like, well, we don't do driving standards penalties in NASCAR. We used to. We used to. And then they still do now every once in a while whenever they feel like it, depending on who the driver is. Last year at Nashville, and I've brought this up a million times, Lane Riggs was penalized for intentionally spinning out Stephen Parsons. Stephen didn't hit anything. Kept going. But they parked Lane for 2 laps. It's the same kind of penalty they used to hand out all the time before the boys have at it nonsense. But now they never do unless they've got some kind of issue with whoever the driver is. I don't know what the issue was there, but if you're not going to penalize everyone for doing that crap, then don't penalize anyone for doing it. But you do need to penalize people for doing it. Ross needs to be penalized. Like I said, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. I want to say this, too, before I let you go. Yesterday, I took my wife and kids to the flea market in Mobile. We haven't been in a long time. We used to go every weekend, but it hasn't been a while. It's kind of dumb because you have to pay to get in. You have to pay to go shopping. Okay? Like, at the gate. It's idiotic. And I think it's $1 per person. It doesn't matter. 50 cents is too much. Because you shouldn't have to pay to go shopping. It's another thing. You look at NASCAR. It happens on smaller scales as well. So this flea market, when we first moved down here, this place was covered up every weekend. Couldn't find a parking spot, all that kind of stuff. They changed ownership, and then the new owners started charging at the gate, and then you've seen every weekend you go up there now, and it's like half full. Park wherever you want to. I mean, no one's there in comparison to what it used to be. So now they're throwing stuff up against the wall to see what'll stick to get people to come back. And one of those things that they've done is they put in an arcade, and I didn't know that. So we went up there this weekend, and of course my kids, they wanted to sit there and play on it all day. They had Crazy Taxi, which is awesome. I used to play that. There was the Walmart in Gardendale, Alabama, the old Walmart, the one that's there now is new. But I think Hobby Lobby is in the old building now. But in the foyer, they used to have like an arcade set up. And Crazy Taxi was one of those games in Cruising USA. And so while Mom would go grocery shopping or whatever, we'd sit out there in the foyer playing video games. So it instantly took me back to being a kid. And, these arcade games, these old ones, graphics aren't great. Whatever, gameplay mechanics are kind of clunky, but the nostalgia trip is worth it. Plus, it's free at the flea market. You don't have to pump quarters into it either. And so they had that, and they had, was it Ivan Stewart's Off-Road, which was a game I had on Super Nintendo back in the day, and we used to play it all the time. I honestly forgot that they had an arcade version of it. Super cool. I saw it, went over there. They had like 3 wheels set up for like 3 different players, and the screen's messed up, of course. But it's just cool. And like I said, I don't think I've ever seen one of those in person. I knew that they existed, but I'd totally forgotten about it. Nostalgia trip. It's very cool. Very cool. So anyways, if you enjoyed listening to me ramble about motorsports, cars, what have you, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, the works. If you're interested in diecast cars, t-shirts, hats, auto parts, home decor, lamps, lampshades, women's clothes, what have you, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Follow me on Facebook and X for more motorsports content. Facebook is specifically motorsports. X, we do a little bit of motorsports and political stuff. So check those both out. Link is in the description for both. As always, I appreciate you guys and gals watching. Until next time, we'll see you. God bless. Peace.